Any new update means searching for new terrains so that you can improve what your world contains. My world is no exception, and I've searched thousands of blocks to make sure I have a cherry grove, a trail ruins, and of course a new end portal to go with that, and each of these things are so far apart from each other, and indeed my base, that I've had to make specific nether portals for them. And although I enjoy that you can see which of these nether portals is my end, the cherry grove, and the archaeology, I would like to improve the connections between them, because right now it's a very rickety pathway at best, and a giant sea of lava I have to fly over at worst. But either way, I'll be using the most popular 1.20 feature, according to Minecraft themselves, the cherry plank, to do so. I mean, you'd figure the cherry plank and the nether would be a bad combination, but let's find out if that's true today, because this is my Let's Play. And hello, I'm UpYX by the way. This is one of the giant walls of netherrack in my nether that resulted from the expansion of the world, and that up there is my pathway, which takes me to my new nether portals. But there's a problem in the connection between this and the rest of my nether. As you can see right here, the only connection between them is air, which is fine to fly through, but not only is it expensive, not only is it dangerous, it's also not as easy to follow as when you have a bunch of stone bricks, which is what I tried to do for most of the nether. So I'm going to go and get myself some stone, and then I'm going to expand this pathway, but it's going to go that way, which handily enough, there already is a cave focusing this way. If we just dig directly in this direction, we'll be able to have ourselves a nice path, which can go all the way from here to the big nether wall, and will allow me to get over there with just a bit more ease and a little bit lower risk of falling in lava. And so while a ghast tries to attack me, I'm going to place around 600 stone blocks. Okay, that time I think the ghast was pretty successful. But anyway, as you can see, pathway's going well. And now that is the main pathway finished, there is at least a safe way through here. It's kind of fun to build a road in the middle of the air, but what we can also do is connect it up to what is going to be the other portals. This is a slight diagonal up gradient. I would guess that it's like 2 blocks up every, or 1 block up every 2 blocks diagonally. So we're gonna have a very weird looking, I guess, staircase, but it's better than having nothing here and having to fly, so let's try our very best. I'm surprised, I actually guessed the gradient quite well. I do have the big problem of this big lava tail, and I also think I went diagonal a little bit too early, but if we just ignore those two things, I'm now magically right over where I would like to be, which is, as far as I can tell, problem solved. Sure, my very nice pathway becomes a very rickety stone brick path, but all I have to do is place a few more blocks here and there, and now I think we're entirely fine. This is a-okay, and that means there is now a connection past this wall, which is just currently a few stone bricks on the ground. Again, that's mostly fine, because as soon as you follow those stone bricks, maybe not as soon as you follow them. Maybe we need it to be clearer. There's some over here. As soon as you follow those very obvious stone bricks that weren't obvious, you end up right over here with a stone brick in the floor and also a nether portal. So this is a big danger for a couple of reasons. One of those is the ghast that is attacking me, and the other of those is the lava falling from the ceiling. Pro tip, if you want to stop lava from being a big spill like it is right here, all you've got to do is like dig a few blocks down below it like this, and then like mess up the existing flow, and it won't go back in there once you remove this block. Boom, problem solved. Now it's actually a beautiful feature which we can work around or try not to die in. And also, yeah, you can see there's a portal right here. This is the only of the 4 portals which I'll be connecting today which isn't decorated. Something I should obviously change, because on this side it is it's a ancient city with, I'm guessing, yeah, there's a lovely little one of these amethyst geodes, so I should use a bunch of amethyst blocks and calcite blocks, and maybe even some, I guess, like some of the blocks from this place to make this kind of nice. So let's do that. Decorate the portal, make it look wonderful with a little hint of ancient city, and then a little hint of, I guess, a giant, like, amethyst thing. So, I guess we could build a really, really tiny one of those, actually. So, a little bit of that, and then a little bit of this, and please don't hit me, ghast. Anyway, a little bit of those, a little bit of that, and then a little bit of the amethyst blocks themselves. This is the prettiest ones. We have some of that over here, I would say, like, kind of going upwards. So, remove that block, but then have it go all the way around here. Isn't that kind of a nice little design? And then I also would say that we'll use the other blocks that we have here. They're not really useful anywhere else. We'll just place those up on the ceiling so it's extra clear that this is precisely what I'm doing. Is this a very pretty portal? No. Is it very obvious what's inside? Yes, and that's the most crucial thing. I do really like the idea of like building an entire one of these out there like I saw in Realm Review recently, but for now I think this is entirely acceptable because it indicates the point and it allows me to then question, how do I connect this portal to my next one? My next portal is currently connected via this. It is a big trench which is a little bit concerningly thin and is very interestingly shaped, and then is eventually replaced by this stone brick path, which is the bare minimum just to make it clear exactly where we're going, because at the end of the stone brick path, you'll notice just over in the distance there are my cherry trees. I mean, they're actually trees made from cherry wood. I think they're beautiful, but a few people see them as something else, and yeah, this is now my second biome. As you can see, it's very clear which each of the portals are meant to be. However, it's not incredibly clear how you get between them, and it's a kind of, at least, but the path between them leaves a lot to be desired. Indeed, this whole thing is leaving a lot to be desired, and so what we should do is very much deal with that right now. And I think the stone bricks are nice, but I think when we get this deep into our nether, rather than using stone bricks, it might be more fun to use something more nether themed. Pro tip, by the way, if you fly into ghasts, they're much easier to kill with a sword. You could also have a bow, but fly killing is much more fun. So rather than going underground and having this really terrible end user experience, I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use some blackstone to make a new pathway over here. Apparently, right after killing some piglins. Honestly, whenever you're doing long-term work in the nether, really recommend just getting some gold armor. I say that out loud, but honestly, every single time it comes to me, I'm never going to do it. I would rather just kill the piglins in outright refusal of acknowledging that I should wear different colored armor just because they don't like me. But anyway, with that said, now we can work on making our own little diagonal. I just don't think I should be the one to change my armor choice because they don't like me, you know? At this point, it's their problem with me, and they can keep dying for it if they want. Anyway, as you can see, my main pathway just goes to the left there, and although going through Netherrack is really great for early game worlds, at the point where the Elytra is your main form of transportation, I'd say it makes much more sense to avoid that wherever possible, so we'll make the easiest diagonal that we can that doesn't go through the wall, which is about right over here, I'd say. So we'll make some polished blackstone, and then once we made some polished blackstone, we make some blackstone bricks, and then we're going to make a little pathway going out over there. Kind of going into the same method as before, but this time, the bricks will look so much cooler, right? I have to admit, when you're making pathways like this, it does get just a little bit shaky, but you know, it's totally fine. A little bit of rotation both ways. This is one of those things that is really fun on Bedrock. On Java, I feel like doing the equivalent of this is probably easier if nothing else. It's a little dangerous doing anything in the nether, but ultimately bring fire resistance potions, or just accept that you'll be on fire for far too long. Either one of those things works. But yeah, here's a fun thing. If you are on Java, you have a place like this, but it's actually a little bit better for your, like, not having to wiggle your head. So even if you're on Bedrock, you might prefer this if you have Swift Sneak. But again, it's one of the nice little side benefits of Swift Sneak. Speaking of nice little side benefits, it's really important that you don't mix full damage and fire damage. But yeah, as you can see, the pathway goes basically the exact same route, but with a slightly different ending, and also the key benefit of being any path you make in Minecraft is not just a path you can walk on, but ideally, oh wow, look at that. Ideally also a path you can fly along. As you can see, this one will be really easy for me to just come from right over here and be like, oh, I need to go somewhere further, look at that path, and follow it along via the firework. This is something that I think is underappreciated. The later in a Minecraft world you get, the more places you do decide to just fly, and although I do think having a balance of other input methods is super important too, as long as you can build a pathway under the assumption that you know that, yeah, walking is not your only mode of getting around, then you'll have a pretty good time. Speaking of pretty good time, piglins, come on guys, you can't be this intolerant towards me just because I won't wear the same color as you. That's entirely not okay. It's 2023. I'm allowed to be whichever color in terms of my armor that I like, and you shouldn't be resisting me on the basis of that. Speaking of resisting me, okay, we're gonna have a little bit more fun today. Okay, the good news is I'm not dead, and I'm about to go over a big lava pit, so it's extra important that I don't die. So we'll do the lovely little fast build till we get to the other side. Wait, no, if we're gonna do fast building, I think it is better to do it the crouch placey way, because it's just a little bit more pleasant to watch, right? Whatever you reckon, the only thing that matters is we now have a very clear, very obvious pathway from that portal to this one, which means that we've now directly linked 2 of our 4 nether portals. And that is great, but that's kind of a side project on top of the fun thing I wanted to do today, because I noticed that Minecraft said that there have been over 60 million cherry planks crafted since the update came out. And honestly, I was thinking to myself, you know, for most of these stats that they showed, like I have a disproportionate number of sniffer seeds. There are hundreds of millions of Bedrock players, and I have done over 1 millionth of the seeds collected, and I figured, you know what, why don't I do a significant portion of the cherry plank placement as well? Right now, I've only placed, I think, a dozen or so across my world to make these trees and a few things in my end, and why don't I up that seriously by building a Nether structure, but out of cherry planks? There's a really good reason you shouldn't build with wood in the Nether, and it relates to this block right here, but today, I'm going to be finding out if that really is something that I should care about. So first things first, I'm going to build a house. I would use the cherry logs for these pillars, and although I think that's a perfectly great idea, I need to be making cherry planks because honestly they're much pinker and prettier anyway. So instead of using cherry logs, I'll instead be focusing with my black stone bricks to make it have a Nether vibe. So as you can see, this is going to be my nice little Nether house. It probably needs a bit of a renovation on the inside, but yeah, we will use some of these for the corners. And all of a sudden, we've got ourselves something beautiful, which we'll then add a roof to, which is very, very simple. Ooh, doesn't it look nice, by the way? But the whole reason that this house exists is just so I can have a fairly safe place for me to store both a crafting table, which is probably important. I have very few of those in my Nether, surprisingly for me, actually. And then also where I can store some chests. There is this bit of a problem I have where I like to hoard. Like, ooh, look at all these gold tools I've gotten. I know they're all worthless to me, but just in case I want them, it's nice to have a chest to throw them in and think, yes, future me can enjoy this, or he cannot. But in either way, it's not my problem to deal with anyway, which is great. It's also where I could store various birch planks and, oh no, I think one of my planks went missing. What could possibly have gone wrong there? I have no way of knowing. But yeah, we're also going to have to continuously defend from piglins, which we will not be doing with fire, but instead with torches, I guess? Placing torches in the Nether just makes me feel so dumb. Like, what? Do I really need to light this place up? Was it really so dark before I placed these that I couldn't see? And the answer is no, but it's still just a little bit of a safety thing. And now, what we can also do is I can obviously... I mean, the important thing is I need to place a bed in here because I need to be able to sleep. But more importantly than that is I want to actually build a structure out of specifically cherry planks. So we're going to go to the overworld, where thankfully, when I destroyed the cherry grove biome, I only destroyed the major part of the biome. I did figure not only would I want these trees later, but also this is one of those weird biomes that like is oddly shaped in a way that it clearly isn't meant to be just one biome. But either way, when I destroyed the biome, I left some trees very much uncut, which means I can chop these down to use for my Nether Fortress project. Although, if I'm being honest, from the original destruction of this biome, I actually have entire shulker boxes full of the stuff, which might just be a little bit easier. But yeah, let's now take one of these over to the Nether and work on something fun. So my goal here with building in the Nether is actually fairly simple. I have this big dip in the ground where my cherry forest comes from. Let's just ignore all the fiery pigs, by the way. This is definitely not a reason why it's a bad idea to build out of wood here. But yeah, I have myself this dip in the ground, but immediately afterwards, I have to go right over that because this is the way to the third portal I need to link up today. And so obviously, rather than going up to come down to go up again, it just seems kind of pointless. Why don't we instead have ourselves a bridge over this? But rather than using any bridge, I want to use a Nether fortress. But Nether fortresses are so tried and done, so let's instead use some cherry planks and make ourselves a fun one. There's so many ghasts attacking me. I keep killing them to make this easier, but the Minecraft bug that is causing this is so overwhelmingly frustrating. How is it that Minecraft Bedrock keeps bringing this one back? Honestly, I feel like I can make a whole video about Minecraft bugs that they just keep coming back time and time again and are like life-endingly terrible for anyone who actually plays the game. But you know, that's a point for another day. And so instead, let me show you the way that I'm making a terrible decision while there are so many ghasts. Too many spawning here. Come on, just let me have one. I deserve that. Come on, there we go. No! Why is he suddenly good at dodging and making me kill Enderman, apparently? Anyway, so let me show you a fun thing that we're gonna do today. Because here's the deal. The Nether Fortress, it's tried, it's true. Come on, leave me alone. It's tried, it's true, it's done. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make an especially fun one using cherry planks. It's funny because the base idea of this is actually quite similar to the stone brick pathway I used already, and it's also kind of similar to the black stone. But here's the thing, by making this, we make ourselves kind of a bridge over nothing. But I think it'd be more fun to no. Come on, ghasts, this is not okay. This is... but I figure, you know, just because something is a bad idea, it will not stop me. Damn it. And this is maybe a problem that I have. You know, maybe there's a learning opportunity in this for me. But anyway, we're going to build ourselves what looks kind of the same, but there's a crucial little twist, and that is we're going to have it slowly also come down to make our, you know, kind of like a bridge down to the ground. This is a pretty fun concept, if you ask me, because it means that as long as we can make sure there are no fires around here, which I think we could easily do with enough torches just around the place, anything that is remotely a fire risk, we make a torch risk instead, and then we plug up the holes with cherry planks, and boom, look at this, we have ourselves a bridge which actually connects to the ground, and if we play this right, which we'll do right now, stop! Why am I doing this to myself? Why did I decide this was an idea that I should pursue? Oh my god. Okay, new plan for my super fast mode placing. Instead of cherry planks, it's going to be torches, just to see what effect this actually has on the area. Okay, no one could have predicted this, but my cherry plank structure in the Nether is going kind of poorly, and also has attracted a number of piglins I didn't know could spawn. Every time I need to trade, you guys aren't there. Why is it the moment I'm not wearing gold armor, I attract so many of you, damn it? And now back to building my cherry fortress, which is going oh so well, and just needs a little nudge in the right direction. That is the only thing that has any flaws of any of this, and so we can easily get that right back to where it should be, I think. So yeah, more seriously, this is something I've wanted to do for a while. It's one of those projects that's just been kind of on the back burner, but I really think that whenever you have, you know, like, there's lots of really fun ideas I keep coming up with, like, I should do this or that, but I think sometimes it's important to tell yourself, like, no, don't do the flashiest or the biggest or most exciting of ideas right away. Instead, I think it's important sometimes to focus on the ideas from the back burner, focus on the stuff that needs to get done, because that's always the stuff that's going to be hardest. At least for me, I don't know how everyone else's brains works. Maybe some people are really good at, like, you know, like, ooh, doing basic tasks and looking after yourself or whatever, and that's the easiest thing, and the hardest thing is to do stuff like, oh, I really hate doing new stuff. I really hate fun and exciting activities. Honestly, there are people like that, I imagine, that exist, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, honestly. To my instinct, it feels like it would be a bad thing to be against having fun, but what do I know? I'm just a Minecraft YouTuber, right? But, yeah, the... come on, Ghast. You gotta stop with that. Or maybe we should just start building something more hardy and reinforced, huh? I think it will be kind of fun, because over time, as long as it doesn't happen while I'm building it, I do think the idea that over time this could change and look... you know, having a few, like, ghast holes in it really would add to the kind of authenticity of it. I think something that is broken in a fun and visible way can you know, like, in the same way that, like I mentioned before, like, scars aren't all a bad thing. Some scars show, like, a story. They tell a tale. They have, like, a real meaning behind them. In the same way, maybe it's actually a good thing when you have a Minecraft build that has giant ghast holes inside of it. Maybe we should all be looking for ghast holes and all be sad that our buildings don't have explosion holes in them. That's, you know, I'm not saying that's definitely true. I'm just saying there's a real possibility and we shouldn't discount it, right? But yeah, now we're going to build these big legs right here. The legs actually have to connect all the way around on each of these sides. So as soon as we've got this done, we'll place that up and it's nice and easy. And, you know, we'll just ignore the ghast barrage. Again, if you want to do this, by the way, I'd recommend, one, making sure there's no ghast spawning spots. You can do that with, like, some slabs, much better than you can with torches. But two, I would recommend waiting till they fix the never spawning bug. It's a very, very serious one. That I don't even know. I really haven't started to understand in recent times, like, how hard it is for Minecraft to, like, because, you know, most people think about bugs and they think about, like, yeah, well, there's all sorts of things in the game that aren't working correctly, but some of those things are, like, literally, oh yeah, this is a borderline feature that is broken. The amount of ghast tiers you can get is actually much higher right now, which some people think of as a good thing. The amount of basically anything you can get has changed in not always necessarily negative ways. Some people might really, really, really enjoy the fact that you can get your hands on more stuff, and it's kind of fun to think about. But speaking of fun things to think about, I think it's fun to hear the sounds of block placing, especially something as nice as cherry planks, so I'll let you have that for just a few seconds. I think I just got hit in midair there, by the way. That's never happened to me before with a ghast explosion. I didn't even know they could hit players. I thought I had to hit the blocks behind you, but apparently it can. By the way, look at the very solid progress we have right here. Very, very nice things indeed. But yeah, speaking of nice things indeed, always watch out for magma cubes, apparently. Speaking of super nice things indeed, there are a lot of nice things that can be said about this very whole structure. But, you know, I won't be the one saying all of them, because I think building in the Nether is definitely a fun indulgence and not necessarily a very good idea, especially when you're building out of explosive blocks. But I do think that also building in the Nether is super important, which is why I like the idea. Oh my god, yeah, we need to heal up somewhere. It is getting dangerous out here for me. Oh, it's also getting dangerous for my structure. No, I just placed all of those blocks. No! This is entirely unpredictable. So it is kind of fun. I do have to admit, one of the skill sets I just haven't put a lot of time into, because it's not one you really have to use very often, is putting out fires. Because honestly, the way fire mechanics work are really bizarre. The way you have to do it, very interesting. And so having to actually deal with this, very fun. And it gives me a good opportunity. Look at this. This is me seeing something bad as an opportunity for growth. Do you see that hole up there? I actually think that would look better. Wait, let me destroy the last of the fires. I think that might look better if that was actually some fences like it's meant to be on the actual fortress. So we place another fence just below it. Please, God, stop hitting my structure. But then we just do the same over there. And wow, once we remove this thing that shouldn't be there. No, whoa, you've ever seen that happen before? Once we remove this thing that shouldn't be there, everything looks wonderful, doesn't it? But yeah, I think ignoring the small teething issues, they're just tiny issues. There's nothing serious happening here. I like what's happening here. I do like the progress that we're making, and I think we only really need 2 or 3 of these divots to really drive home the point that this is a Nether fortress. Something I think we can definitely do, although we're starting these like side points again from scratch. So that goes out 1 block, and then this is going to be, I guess... Oh, actually, I guess we need another one of these over there if we wanted to balance it geometrically. So we have 1 over there, 1 over there, and that there. But look at this. We are succeeding despite serious adversity. And I think I might have to come up with a solution to prevent Ghast attacking in the future. But for now, this isn't a terrible one, right? No, Ghast. Okay, the Ghast did not activate, which is very good news given the current situation. But yeah, I think I do think that building, doing stuff slightly outside your comfort zone is a good idea, and building while being attacked by all sorts of Nether mobs is very much outside my comfort zone. A lot of people, when they're playing Minecraft, they get to this problem where they have every single need they'll ever need solved, and then they don't know what to do next. And I think it's important to always have something to work towards. That can just mean like farming new resources. If you will enjoy that enough, then you should just do that, right? Like you can, I never want to be the person who says like, yeah, you won't enjoy this. Even though I know actually a lot of people will not. It's like down to you to work out where you find the joy and the meaning and whatever else you're actually looking for. You know, life and in Minecraft, by the way, that's true. But I think ultimately, like, as long as you push yourself a little bit, I think you'll have a slightly better time. I did some karaoke for the first time yesterday, if you want an update into my life. And it's like, you know, even as someone who, like, you know, technically talks to thousands of people sometimes, it's like a very different experience to have, like, a bunch of strangers looking at you while you sing West Virginia. It's, you know, it's a very, very different experience, but it is one that, like, you know, brings you extra, like, peace in yourself. I think there's this need that a lot of people have, myself included, this like, oh, yeah, is this going to please other people, or, like, do other people approve or dislike this? You know, like, this inherent need to, like, fit in certain ways isn't necessarily, you know, the worst thing. It's good that we all have that somewhere inside of us. But also, I think it's healthy to, like, remove yourself from that sometimes and work out what it is that makes, like, you a happier, better person. And, yeah, I and I also have learned that I can sing even if I don't know how to sing. That is not one of the prerequisites, as it so turns out. So now we build another one of these. We'll move the torch onto the inside. I'm definitely going to have to worry about this big set of fires, so we'll do that now. And then we'll also build this all the way around to make sure we've got another one of these pillars sorted. Wow, progress happens and it's real nice, right? Do you think the fire can spread from that lava to up here? I sure hope not. But yeah, this is my example of that. I want to have a cherry structure in my Nether, and I know it's an absolutely terrible idea, but can I make it work anyway? This is building on challenge mode, right? Some people like to build on peaceful because they think it gives it's just slightly more chill to not have explosions, like in the form of creepers. What about going the exact opposite way of most people and trying it the opposite way? You can learn a lot more about how safe the overworld is. Like, one of the fun things about playing hardcore is you realize how actually quite safe regular core can be. Like, well, I might die, but sure, I have a totem. Oh, I really should have a totem. Sure, I might. I've been pretty close to death a few times about having one. But, there's all these sorts of things that can help you realize how the current thing that you're doing is actually a little bit easier. When you think you're pushing yourself, you're probably not going all the way to the limit. I realize this all the time with exercise. Have you ever gone for a run and been like, that is as far as I could physically get myself to go, but then like you actually need to go a bit further, and your body does it, right? It goes. Have you ever been at the end of a day and been like, my legs are so tired, I need to get home, and then you walk for like another, 10,000 steps or something. You walk for hours because you've got to do something. Maybe this is just all me that's having these experiences, but I think you can always push yourself a little bit further into places that are not always possible, and it's not always comfortable to do so, but it is always a fun thing to do so, and that's why I think, I'm not going to pretend that, like, you have to, like, oh, yeah, run a marathon every day. Some people get really big on, like, hyping themselves up, being like, yes, everything I do is so unique and so different, when ultimately it's like, yeah, actually, even when you're trying to push yourself, you stay mostly within your comfort zone. Like, the people who are like, yeah, you can do anything you put your mind to. It's like, well, yeah, you can do most of the things you put your mind to, sort of, except by that I actually mean you can do slightly more than you think you can right now. And that's the fun reality of, like, any vice, right? Is if you ever listen to, like, people who spend their whole days being gurus on giving, help and advice, actually most of the advice just boils down to, like, yeah, have you tried, like, being yourself and trying harder? Maybe that's a good idea. Have you tried believing in yourself? And that's why I think that's why I enjoyed about the karaoke thing. Is like, actually, after going through the whole thing, I realized that, yeah, no one actually cares. So it's that advice that is age-old and so true every time it comes up, that, like, everyone else is so busy focusing on themselves and all of their insecurities about themselves that they have no time to, like, focus on you and yours and all of that noise. And ultimately, that is something you should always be thinking about when you're doing something that seems kind of risky. When you're doing something new and you worry, like, oh, will everyone focus on this failing? The only time that people would focus on its failing is if it's doing well enough that people care about you failing. I have this with YouTube, actually. A lot of people... One of the weird things about having a channel with, some level of success, right? We got the gold play button. That's like a permanent measure of, like, at some point the channel was doing really well. Even if I get 0 views a video, I've technically always had this lifetime accomplishment, right? However, a lot of people will come into, like, streams or videos and be like, wow, channel's so dead. You're not getting 1 million views a video? You're not getting hundreds of thousands of people per stream? Ho ho ho. I even had a friend like this when I was in school, being like, oh yeah, you have 10,000 subscribers, but you don't get 10,000 views per video. So, channel's going terribly. But, like, it's if you don't mind me telling a bit of a personal story here, that guy was, like, making fun of it as, like, a terrible thing, but that person then went on to be, to years later, like, try to do YouTube and not be very successful at it, which is kind of a fun thing, right? Like, he was so busy focusing on other people that he didn't focus on himself. It's that kind of fun mentality that, like, even when someone is going against the normal and being like, yes, I will focus on other people's success more than my own, they end up missing on their own success. This is a surprisingly common thing, a ridiculously common thing, and I think it's a useful, but also kind of fun reminder for anyone out there who feels like, oh, but there are people who say mean things, and it's like, yeah, the more time they focus on making you feel not good is the time they can't focus on actually doing good things themselves. Which, to be fair, is not maybe the most important thing. Sometimes it just hurts to feel hurt and so on and so forth. But it is also always an interesting thing, to my mind at least. So yeah, as you can see, things are going great right now. If I kill this ghast, which I can easily do... No, okay, come on, just a little closer. Just a little bit. Once I kill this ghast, you'll see that, boom, I have made it to the other side. I have done something that seemed near impossible, and it actually is going to help in my Minecraft world now. Something that I really like. But yeah, this, for an update as to what's been going on my week besides, like, I guess doing a bit of karaoke, I have been trying to pack in more social engagements. Like, the summer to me always feels like you have to be doing something every now and then, you know, like the, in the winter, people get, like, super antisocial, so I feel like, sometimes people like to be like, yes, I will try and have exactly the right amount of social, but in reality, I think it means you have to do a little bit more than you want during times where it's easy, and a little bit less than you want during times where it's not easy. And so yeah, I've been hanging out with a few more people, like my friends a little bit more, and that's been like kind of fun. But it has involved like kind of pushing myself. Like I've had a few people in my life who just don't understand introversion. I had a roommate until literally this last week. Oh, by the way, I had a lodger who lived in one of my rooms in my house as like a fun thing I decided to do to like help pay the mortgage or whatever. Like, oh yeah, I'll have someone who can live in a room and they can rent it out, and it's like also like a good thing to do for like housing supply, right? Like, well, now there's more houses available and more rooms available, and that's good for everyone. I figured it was like a big mutual win-win sort of thing, but it's gone absolutely terribly my first couple of tries. So I'm actually really excited that now no longer is there a stranger living in my house who gets offended when I won't talk to them and goes, oh, you're not introverted, I hear you talking, I hear you on all these business calls in your office. And I'd be like, yes, those business calls I have. You know, I'm having a business call with you right now, hope you don't mind. But, yeah, I have all sorts of, like, oh, man. Lots of mobs, huh? Building in the Nether is a fun experience. 10 out of 10, by the way. Would recommend. If you like to have your building interrupted by combat every now and then, with a little bit of firefighting, this is an A+ experience. No, I actually might die. Oh, no, I actually might, right? I actually... Ooh... Okay, let's sit over here in the corner just for a minute while we focus about what could go wrong. So I'm going to do something real fun. I'm going to play at 10 times speed now, my healing process. That was at 10 times speed! And it still took that long. Yeah, Bedrock healing is one of the most ridiculously broken things in terms of like how it behaves versus how I think any reasonable person would expect it to behave. And it's just fun to me. It's one of those points I need to make every now and then, just to like, no, don't you dare put fire on me, Mr. Ghast. But yeah, you can see why I probably had to do that healing too. But yeah, I think I think that is one of the weirdest mechanics that I actually learned the fun origin of recently. But yeah, so I've been having a very good week, a little bit extra social, which is kind of hard to manage sometimes with YouTube. Like, one of the hardest things of being, you know, I don't want to say the words being your own boss, because I don't think I'm actually my own boss, in the sense of I'm not very good at telling myself what to do. You know, like any sane person, you know, if I was my own boss right now, I'd be suing me for putting myself in unsafe working conditions, right? So I think being your own boss is the wrong words. But I think one of the weird things about running your own business, being in charge of your own scheduling and all the other, you know, noise like that, is that it leads to a few things of like, you know, like your free time is not a fixed amount. You can't be like, oh, it's not my problem. Like, I was hanging out with a friend who was visiting from very far away this weekend, and they were like, oh man, there's this really serious issue of like the scheduling at work, and they're like asking for help, but like it's not my problem because like it's happening, you know, like I'm literally on, this is my vacation, etc, etc, and like on, you know, I feel like half of people agree with that. Almost people would probably agree with that. That would be my stance to take. Like, yeah, I can see why you don't need that to be your thing. But also, like, I sometimes have similar issue. Oh, man, it's really hard to like do with this. But I sometimes have similar issues. Like, there's something really important. Like, oh yeah, this video, there's been some issue. It's like had a last minute thing, or like the thumbnail. You know, like the person who makes the thumbnails has just decided to not respond for days. I had that for a bit. I'm by the way looking for a new person to help on thumbnails. My old guy, he didn't quit. He just ghosted me one day. So it'd be great if you think you can make good YouTube thumbnails, like really engaging. You know the meta. You know how to make really like because that is one of the things I've been failing at for a while, because it's hard to like find someone to replace it, especially because at last minute it's hard, but then also hiring people is not my strong suit. I don't like talking to people to have to work out like what's going on with this, that, there. So anyway, I've been running into like all these sorts of issues, and when that happens when I'm out and about, I can't be like, oh yeah, I'll just deal with that like tomorrow. It's like, yeah, the video can't go live until I find someone to make a thumbnail, because you can't release a video about a thumbnail, otherwise people don't click on it, and YouTube looks at that and says, wow, you made a bad video, Toycat, because no one's clicking on it, and it's a really big stress that actually happens, and you have to like spot it and deal with it right there. So it's been it's kind of fun to I would say, to be a little bit more social recently, but also it's been resulting in these like sort of different issues that are teaching me more about myself and about, I don't know, the nature of, let's just call it business as a whole. But yeah, maybe you find that interesting. Maybe you think, Toycat, you don't need to share that with us. Tell us about Minecraft stuff. And so if you want to know about my Minecraft thoughts of the week, my biggest one is, yeah, I think bugs need more attention. I've been doing a fair amount of survival stuff. I want to do more, but I've been doing a fair amount. And the biggest takeaway from it is like, oh yeah, your life can be ruined by a Minecraft bug that probably shouldn't even be there to begin with. And so I feel like one of the things that is hard to reach but might be important is saying like, okay, what are the most important bugs that probably need to be even mentioned in videos? Like, these are things I think could improve the game if there was widespread knowledge about them, both by the community, but also by people who develop the game. How do we get the people who develop the game to know about and or care about it? And so that's going to be like one of the fun little things I want to focus on. But also the other thing is just doing silly stuff with the new blocks. I did it just after the update, but I want to do more of that. And yeah, I've also been on a real big like legacy console edition kick this last week. Like, I've been just watching old trailers after time after. I keep just going through them and being like, wow, this is super cool. And so I think I want to do something with that. Like, just legacy console is somewhere my heart is just always going to be, right? There's just no getting around that. My heart's always going to have just a very special place for Legacy Console Edition, and so I figure it might be fun. Or in fact, if I figure that I know it will be fun to do something specific around that. Like, I think one of the benefits of what I do here is, on YouTube, it's important to make sure I'm, like, on top of making sure that videos are ones that people would like to click, etc., like I just mentioned. But I think as well as that, I think on top of that, I kind of get to decide, like, which of those things would be most interesting, and I kind of like that. Anyway, by the way, I kind of like this cherry Nether fortress, right? Do you like it? Do you see how it's a Nether fortress? Do you see how I've got a random block there? That's not meant to be there. But yeah, look at this. I can, with just a few quick punches of getting away fire, and maybe making sure no more of those can happen. That's probably a good idea. We can now say that the bridge is open and ready for foot traffic. Oh, actually, I guess we should also do the last few blocks. I think this might be one of those bridges where it makes sense to like even place some fences all the way along the sides, just to prevent the number of sightlines that Ghast have on me. Because here's the fun thing, even though a fence is partially visible, I'm not sure if that is widely known, but look, you can have a big old fence here, and you can see through that fence, but it counts as a block as far as like, like skeletons or ghasts or whatever are concerned. So by placing one of these there, we'll reduce, even though we'll see ghasts better, and they'll see me fine, they won't shoot at me if they're through a fence. Something I'd love to prove, but for now, we'll just place the fence. Oh no, my house! I was gonna grab the sticks from my house, but like, it doesn't seem to exist anymore. Oh, that's a problem, huh? That's a big problem. Okay, so I want to tell you I've learned a lesson, internet. I want to tell you like, oh, now I know that you shouldn't do. But that's 100% not what's happened here. What has instead happened is I am now going to believe that there is an evil cult of people going around and burning down cherry houses. And if you want to have a house that is more immune to fires than my cherry one is, then subscribing to the channel. There we go. Made it a nice little subscriber pitch. But yeah, I think we place all of these down, and we have something real nice here. But yeah, so I think, oh god. So you see how he shot me through one of the walls here? Now I'm staring at that ghast, and he despawned. But I'm staring at the ghast, and he wouldn't be able to attack. I'd say if you want to be really secure, and you've got a wooden build that really, really can't be lit on fire, I'd say place a bunch of fences on the sides of it, and then don't walk in front of it. Like if I walk over here, I'm putting myself at risk of this spreading that way, so shouldn't do that ideally. But yeah, see, right, point proven. So there's now 2 ghasts there. let's test my point. Okay, so just stop lighting things on fire just for a minute, if we could. That would be great. And now let me show you something incredible that seems like it shouldn't really be true, and yet it's about to be anyway. Okay, so come on. Okay, so here I am behind a fence. As you can see, the ghast is clearly looking at me. It's kind of weird that she can do that, but even though the ghast is right there, until the ghast gets to a point where there's a direct sight line, which actually might happen based on where she's flying, she will not be able to hurt me, and indeed, my Nether fortress is safe too, which is exactly what I want to be able to say. So this is now linking most of my second and my fourth portal, something I think I should finish the job with just over here, because yeah, I think right now having just a path that goes like this could do with some work, so I'll use some polished blackstone bricks to kind of cut the corners and make this just a little more efficient. Like, right now, why do I have to curve around that? That's dumb. Let's just go right through the center here. In fact, even more than just diagonal, I'll make it a little bit wider as we go this way to make it clear that I can kind of run the right way. Then we've got a very rickety netherrack pathway right now, which I can understand for the time made a lot of sense, but instead we'll just use a whole second layer of blackstone bricks to finish that one off. And this way, whenever I feel like I don't want to be at risk of being one ghast explosion away from death, I can run along the blackstone pathway, and then finally, I just need to make sure that the end portal links into this properly as well. I do have a really fun project planned with a trail ruins at some point, so I might revamp this portal then. For now, it works just great, but what doesn't work great is my access to the end. I kind of need to know that there are end bricks over here, which is a bit of a flaw in the plan, because also, as you can see, once you get in this tunnel, it's also leaving a little to be desired. So what do I do instead? Well, I have some fun. And then I take a few more endstone bricks and just make it so that the endstone path is a tiny bit more visible, if such a thing is possible. So there, that, actually, even better, I think we should just make another path right through here. Oh, in fact, there we go. There is a path right through here. And then we'll just make the path a little bit more visible. I think this is a perfectly great tunnel, but it just doesn't have perfect visibility because it's very well hidden back there, kind of behind some fires. So we just make that a little more visible by digging some of these blocks out of there. And then place one final endstone brick in that direction just to guide my eyes in the right place. For now, I think this is just about fine. I think we could also do something really good to do the last part of the connection, but in the absence of that, what I think I need to do instead is just have at least something clear. This is an end portal I won't need to go to very often, but I do need to make sure that when I do want to go this way, it's very clear how I get there. And so after this very long tunnel, which is probably a bit too narrow and a bit too short, but you know, it's doing the job just fine, at the end of this tunnel, it needs to be very clear exactly which way to go. Something which I can do with a netherrack arrow, I should say. I mean, a netherite arrow would be pretty cool too, but you know, the budget version of one of those is just to take some netherrack that you found around, place it on the ground, and boom, I go flying this way. And if I trust the arrow, which I very much should do, it'd be nice to have some actually decent flying route, but if I trust the arrow, I eventually see some endstone bricks again. I really don't know why I have so few of those, and I see some more endstone bricks, and then eventually, boom, there is the end itself. I maybe could do with a second arrow to tell me it's like diagonally left over here, so build a big one of these with a little diagonalness to it at the end. Can you do a diagonal arrow? I guess not. So we'll work out how one of those works right now. So if we go like that, and then like this, is this a diagonal arrow? Wait, okay, is this a diagonal arrow? It sort of is. Yep, that's great. And now I can see where my end is, because that's what the I stands for, my end portal. And now, when I want to get home and say this whole thing is done, all I have to do is go through this portal, which, to remind you, is 1,600 blocks away from Origin in the Nether. In the overworld, it is an ungodly 13,000 blocks away, and we just go right through the end portal, and then right through a second end portal. Flying is unnecessary, I'm just choosing to be a little bit quick here. And then immediately on the other side, we have access to the home. This means that now if I want to build... Wait, this is not my home. This is oh, this is from earlier in the video. Well, but you know, the point is, if I didn't sleep out here, I'd have immediate access to home, which means I can now build further out because I have a return mechanism to my base. Something I'm excited to be able to do if I want to in the future. I actually do think though, like, although this update is very much the exploration update, which is encouraging me to go out and explore, I do want to have some more stuff which is close in to the rest of my world, because I love my cherry fortress as much as the next person, but I also want to make sure more of this stuff is like easily accessible all in one place. But this update is doing something kind of fun to me, which is pushing me out of that comfort zone and saying, no, but you see, connect to the portals so you can actually get to these other biomes that you need and want. Do this, do that. It's encouraging me to be somewhere that I'm not necessarily always being otherwise, and I think that's at least some amount of fun. Speaking of some amount of fun, these are my favorite guys. They're just so enjoyable to be around. They have really good views on color and armor and gold, and I just love hanging out with them. But yeah, speaking of hanging out with people, if you want to come and hang out on this channel, you can subscribe. I think realistically, everyone who's on the Let's Play has already subscribed, but I do intend to do some fun stuff in this series, and if you want to stay tuned to that, then I hope to see you in the next one. The Let's Play is always going through like a tiny bit of an identity change, but the key parts of always having a real, authentic chat, and always, you know, actually showing you what a real Minecraft world is like, unlike some of the ones that you'll see on the internet. I think that's important, and I think that's what we're gonna do. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not following my own advice right now. Okay, get behind this, and there we go. We're safe. Hope you all enjoyed this video, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Oh, don't get me. Don't get me. Okay, look at that. Safety. It's fine. Bye.